It's technology that is fundamentally changing the lives of millions of families across this country. 10 years ago, tablets and smartphones barely existed, but tonight there's shocking new evidence of just how much these devices are affecting families. In an exclusive poll for this programme, almost half of parents questioned said they feared their children are addicted to screens, and even more believe they spend much too much time in front of them. But are the screens themselves harmful, or is it what's on them that's the problem? As part of a new series on Generation Screen, our science editor Tom Clark reports now on the brave new world in our living rooms.
These are my daughters. Molly is nearly 6. The twins, Georgie and Clem, are 2. Like most kids of their generation, they've been born into a world of screens. Portable, internet-connected and entirely fascinating. They don't have devices of their own, but they'll do anything to get their hands on ours.
Is it finished?
As my daughters become part of Generation Screen, I've joined a generation of parents that's increasingly worried about the risks screen use could be having on our kids. Are these devices really going to melt their brains? Or have claims for that sort of thing been simply overblown? In this film, we've polled British parents and discovered just how prolific screen use has become in the UK, what parents' biggest fears are, but also discovered how the answers we as parents most desperately want remain elusive.
Things are pretty similar here in the Ghaffar household in Birmingham. Dad Abdul first noticed how important screens were in their lives when there was a power cut.
As soon as I walked through the door, Dad, Wi-Fi is off, because there's a power cut. Not to sort of think about how the microwave will work, how are we going to have a shower because that's electric shower. Wi-Fi is gone, literally. So that was kind of thinking, it's a new age that we're in.
His daughters use their screens to play games and do their homework. Malika, who's 10, likes to watch cooking videos.
Just the crushed pineapple mixture.
So then when I grow up I can be a chef or something. My iPod's my favourite thing to play with. I like it a lot.
Each of the sisters have their own devices, something that's becoming the norm in Britain.
And the legs.
We've discovered 73% of British children now have access to at least one Wi-Fi enabled tablet at home. That's up from 42% just 2 years ago. And our poll of more than 1,000 parents found that on average, children are now spending just short of 3 hours each day staring at screens.
Oh look, the wings come out.
Numbers they'll understand here in Suffolk. William, 10, and Oliver, 8, have friends over, and they've all bought screens with them. That's on top of the ones they already have at home.
2 TVs, 2 Nintendo DS's,
TV, Xbox,
1 iPad, 2 iPads,
iPad and PlayStation.
They look scary. Who are they?
One of Oliver's favourite games is Minecraft, which he plays on his tablet or on the Xbox.
I used to just think of it and then fall asleep when I'm thinking of it, and then I would just dream that I'm actually playing on the Xbox.
Our poll found 43% of parents use the word addicted to describe their child's relationship with screens. And nearly half of us think our children spend too much time in front of them. And since the screens came into their lives, it's hardly been fun and games for Oliver's parents.
There were times when I actually felt that the tablet had stolen my son. That's quite profound, I realise when I say that. The imaginative Oliver that we had that was, full of ideas and would create these wonderful stories and would sit and talk for a long, long time of his wonderful imagination. And then the iPad came along and kind of destroyed that for us slightly.
Now that is quite gory. His head just came off.
Like many parents, Jeannie worries about what impact screen use could be having on her children's development.
Yeah, I sometimes play with them.
Something that hasn't escaped their notice.
They wouldn't just let us play on it all the time because they say it's bad for your brain.
Do you believe them?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think it might be bad for your brain?
Because your brain is working too hard.
Screens are definitely absorbing, and there is evidence they can reduce physical activity. But are they changing children's brains?
Well, there are a lot of claims made for evidence that is really lacking or not strong. So I think a lot of the claims at the moment that are about children's brains being rewired or kind of neuroscientific evidence of their the ways they think changing, none of that is established.
Look, it's meant to be.
Many researchers feel studies on the impact of screens have lagged behind the speed at which things are changing. But there's no question internet-connected devices do offer children direct and very personal access to the online world. We found the top 3 parental concerns were exposure to sexual content, violent material, and meeting strangers online.
What's that called? Mushrooms.
You worry who they're going to come across, who, what they're going to encounter. This whole child online sexual exploitation is a massive concern.
Inappropriate material, that is something that every parent should be aware of. The restriction is there that they cannot use iPods in their bedrooms.
In Suffolk, screens aren't allowed upstairs either. But many parents feel they're in uncharted territory without clear guidance. And the experts agree.
There's so much focus on the device that there hasn't been enough attention really about what those apps and games and sites could be. And secondly, I think parents themselves they don't quite know where to turn for guidance. It feels to me a bit like the internet. We've kind of, given our kids the tools and we haven't given them a map.
While we agonise about what effect screens could be having on our kids, we stop to consider what effect they might be having on us as parents. How many times have you sat around glued to the screen of your smartphone when you should be talking to your children?
We've discovered 2/3 of us say we're often on our screens when we're with our children. Nearly the same number admitted using screens as a way of distracting kids when busy or tired. And nearly 60% of us take screens away to punish our children. Professor Livingston has just completed a major study of young families and screens and found British parents were some of the strictest. But the most confident parents were the ones who took time to understand what their children were doing online.
A lot of the parents that you'd speak to, they would say, we're the old generation. We cannot control or find out what kids are up to because we do not have to. Well, they need to learn.
How did you manage that?
And for all our anxieties, the majority of parents we polled thought the positives of screen use outweigh the negatives. And an overwhelming 84% agreed there were educational benefits to tablets or smartphones. After all, there is no conclusive evidence screens are that distracting.
In terms of stuff that you're allowed to look at or download onto your device.
William, apologise. Sorry.
Well, Tom Clark joins me now. Tom, from your report, there is all but no advice out there, is there?
I think, if anything, that was the most remarkable thing that we managed to uncover. There is just, there's plenty of advice there about how much exercise your child should have, how much sugar or salt they should eat, how to stay safe on the roads. When it comes to the thing that arguably most of our kids spend most of their time doing now, there's very little guidance at all, and parents really want some help here. They want to know how long should they be spending, what apps are good, what sites are bad, what should they be looking for or avoiding. Because let's face it, most parents recognise there are benefits of screens. They want to know guidance of where the good things are. Indeed, one of the only groups that actually put some guidance out, the American Academy of Paediatrics, advising that small children under 5 should spend no more than 2 hours a day online. They've now watered that down because, again, for some kids, there are benefits. I think at the heart of this is the question, it's all about what kind of child is using what kind of sites, and the studies, this is moving so fast. The number of these devices in the home is growing so quickly that the science is lagging behind the use in everyday life.
Tom Clark. And tomorrow night, we're going to focus on teenagers whose lives, more than ever, are lived online.
If I was